Your Excellency, let me begin by saying that it is indeed an honor and a great privilege for Sulweti and I to be here in Tarawa for the very first time representing the people of Fiji. This state visit is my first international engagement since assuming office on Christmas Eve and is significant on many levels. As you know, Your Excellency, Fiji for the first time elected its Prime Minister on the floor of Parliament. And I was elected by the power of a majority of one. It was on Christmas Eve, and it was by secret ballot. The following day, the world stood still to remember the birth of one child in Bethlehem. I believe it is the power, it was the power of that one child in our prayers for so many years that gave us that majority of one on the floor of Parliament. On a personal level, I'm deeply moved to be here, the ancestral home of our Banaban people on Rambe Island, displaced and moved, probably against their will, to be on Rambe Island in the Kondrawe, which is my home province. They have played a major part in the affairs of the Kondrawe province. Our paramount chief is now the Speaker of the House of Representatives in Fiji, our parliament. I went to school with some distinguished sons of Rambe at Queen Victoria School. One of them was a nominated member of your parliament here from Rambe, while also was a member of the parliament in Fiji, David Christopher. He and I were together at Queen Victoria School in Fiji. The Banaban community on Rambe has now become a very important part of the rich fabric of multicultural Fiji, and our government encourages them to cultivate their unique identity and historical ties with the people, the government, and the land of Fiji. Many of the original inhabitants of Panapa never saw their homeland again. But I believe they are with us in spirit tonight. And I believe all smiling because we continue the rich tradition of the Pacific and our family connections. They have become my kinsfolk. They have become my family. You, therefore, are my kinsmen and also my family. As is our custom in Fiji, after we have been away from our villages for an extended period of time, when we come back, perform the ceremony of the Mboka, which commemorates historical ties and connections with the land, the sea, and each other, and consolidates a sense of family, a sense of oneness, a sense of unity. Today's event, earlier in the day, when we presented our Sevu Sevu and the Kamunanga or the Tambua or the whale's tooth as our Mboka, it was our way of saying to you, thank you for looking after those that have left us. Thank you for observing the rites and rituals and the ceremonies associated with deaths in our families and our tribes. Because we were not there, we presented the Mboka this afternoon. Retrospectively, we were part of your grief. We were part of those ceremonies, those noble ceremonies of thanksgiving to the departed soul, but certainly to God for having given us a father, a mother, a brother, or a sister, whom we have enjoyed the companies of during their life on earth with us. We did that so that we can emphasize our oneness, our unique culture, and unity. As you all know, it is in unity that God commands his blessings. Your Excellency, I'm reminded of the poem that you shared at the United Nations in 2016, and we heard about it again tonight. The frigate bird. It paints a magnificent picture of Kiribati's journey as a nation. Your resilience, your strength, your unity. This particular verse, these few lines, that captured my imagination. Arise, my frigate bird, with valor and strength. Rise over the perilous tides from the east, and fly brave and proud on the currents of wind. For you are, and always will be, my transformation. My traditional bird is the stork, the mbelo. I'm wearing that tonight. It is the design of the shirt and the frocks that the men and women wore on the 3rd of this month when we congregated at home to open our new hall, which we built using our own labor and our own funds. I wanted to finish that before the end of elections. I wanted to show the people in the provinces, in the villages, that we can do it with very little or no government assistance at all. And when we were building it, I laid the foundation with my chief in March of last year. And I told them we'll open it on the 2nd of February. As we came closer to the second, they said, can we delay it? To when? To the 3rd of January. We said, yes, okay. They wanted one day to prepare for the ceremonies after the Sunday, which was the 1st. We agreed with that, and in October, my deputy in our committee went home and said, when my chief asked him, who's going to open the hall? He said, the Prime Minister. That was a few months before the elections. And he went back 2 weeks later, and he said, this is where Siti's car will be, and this is where Siti's bodyguard will be. I'm Siti. And that was before the election. The power of one came into play. We were all praying for victory. And we were all praying that Siti would come and open the hall. Last week, I launched a book written by a friend. And right through his speech to those that were gathered there, he said, right at the beginning, I was determined. And right through the process, I prayed. So at the end of his address, he reminded everyone of those 2 words, determination and prayer. If you keep those, work with those, whatever the endeavors you might be involved in, you shall succeed. Under your leadership, Your Excellency, Kiribati is on the cusp of major transformation, like a frigate bird. The frigate bird is a magnificent creature in flight, and its unique ability to read and adapt itself to the winds, to soar effortlessly, is a great illustration of your leadership and the resilience of your people. Today I've been privileged to hear more about Your Excellency's vision and sentiments on leadership in the Pacific. Thank you for our discussion. I have the opportunity to talk with you on issues of common interest, our shared values, and our future as fellow Pacific Islanders. I deeply appreciate the spirit of friendship and goodwill that has been manifested during this visit and the outcomes of our discussion today. I look forward to meeting you, Your Excellency, in Fiji very soon, and reciprocating this kindness and your hospitality. I also share the same sentiments we shared today with those at the forum 2 days ago. My hope that we would be seeing your government endorse the return of this great nation to your family in the Pacific. Try as we might, we cannot ignore the common histories that enabled our founding fathers to build the cornerstone of a regional family house. Those leaders were visionaries in their own right. And if anything, their voices carry over the waves the message that we need each other more than ever before. And I remind us all that a house divided shall not stand. This is our unique opportunity to make peace and progress as a foreign family. But we must be diligent about it. We cannot work in isolation. We must work together in unity. As we presented the tambua this afternoon, Your Excellency, there were words of apologies in the presentation. We apologize for how Fiji had acted at the time of the crisis in our association, in our family. And when you accepted it, you accepted our apologies, and we thank you. And we look forward to seeing you in Fiji in the near future. I would like to acknowledge the sacrifice of the Kiribati people in the fight against the existential threat of climate change. I said today as we were driving around that no one who has not been to your great nation can go and talk wisely about climate change. They need to come here to see the ravages of climate change on your land, on your islands, and its people. Our shared struggle has been compounded by the pandemic that has tested our health systems almost to the point of failure. The consequences have been tragic and severe, and we must continually do all we can to ensure that our peoples have a secure future. Your Excellency, I'd like to conclude my remarks with your own blessing. Te Maori, te Raui. We pray for you. We pray for you and your people. We pray for the people of the Pacific. And I thank you for being a humble leader. And I thank you that in all the functions we have had, we've started with a prayer. Sadly, this cannot happen in Fiji as we have constitutionalized secularism. But that will change. All it takes is determination and prayer. I end with the words of wisdom from Micah the prophet, and remind all leaders who are here tonight, what does God require of you, O man? But to act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. God bless you all.
Thank you. Nakawakalevu, Your Excellency, for your warm remarks.